yourself.
For a talk radio
experience like no other.
Strap yourselves in and hold on.
He stands for truth. He stands for justice. He stands for what's right. This is the Alex Jones Show. Call Alex now, toll free, at 877-590-5525. Now live from Austin, Texas, here's Alex Jones.
I know we've had loaded phone lines since the radio show began. We're going to get to you. It won't matter if it's all over the map, because Lindsey Williams can comment on it all. But, Pastor, recap what you've said in your past interviews. Explain what he told you they were going to do 8 months ago. Then you go on the air 6.5, 7 months ago. You break it down when oil prices were only rising.
Of 08. And believe me, you had to have been bold to have allowed that, because crude oil prices at that time were $147 a barrel, and this gentleman told me they were going to $50 a barrel. I knew there was no way in this world that this could happen except that the elite would do it. Now, folks, let me pause here long enough to say, please, I beg of you, believe everything you hear Alex Jones say on his show. I know from firsthand experience that the elite of this world do exist. There is a handful of people who control our government, control our president, control the currencies, control OPEC and the oil production of the world and the price they get for a barrel of oil. And this man said to me, it is going to $50 a barrel. It's going to $1.50 to $2 a gallon at the gas pump. Now, here I'm going to make a prediction. Don't be concerned about gasoline prices going up the gas pump. They aren't. I was told by this man that they would stay this way until they had completely bankrupted OPEC, the oil-producing countries of the world. That means a year to a year and a half, you are going to see gasoline prices stay right where they are today and not go up. Mark my words, I was told it by one of those who knows everything that goes on behind closed doors.
And by the way, since then, several mainstream publications like Bloomberg and AP and George Soros at the Davos World Economic Forum, where the elite spews their propaganda, admitted that they've artificially lowered oil prices to bankrupt Russia, Venezuela, the Arabs, and ensure a worldwide depression so the big central banks, flush with all the bailout money, can buy everything up for pennies on the dollar with an artificially engineered fire sale. Now, within months of you saying this on air, it began to drop from $150 a barrel down to $100, down to $75, down to $60, down to as low as $33 a barrel. It's at 40-something right now. It bounces around down there at the bottom. Again, he told you they were doing this. Now, break down why they wanted to destroy the world economy.
They're doing this intentionally. All this was planned months and months in advance. This did not happen by chance. What's happening in the finances of America right now, likewise, are not happening by chance. All of this is for the purpose of bringing about everything that you're seeing take place right now in banking. He told me, he said, America will see a... Now, folks, please notice this. I'm quoting this man verbatim, word for word. It almost as if he had just walked out of the boardroom of the elite and was quoting it to me on the telephone before we had this financial crisis, before Obama was elected, before we had any money given by the Treasury of the United States of America to the banks of America, before the real estate crisis took place. This man told me, and Alex, thank you for allowing me the privilege of being on your show.
You bet, Lindsey. You bet. Let's get into it. So
America will see a financial collapse that will be so great that it will take years to come out of it. Now, this means he was forecasting exactly what's taking place in the financial world right now, the real estate crisis, the banking crisis. And, folks, you haven't seen anything yet. You just wait until they finish up what they wanted, because he said to me, He said this is being done for the purpose of bankrupting the OPEC oil-producing countries of the world. That means that they no longer have the money to buy our T-bills. Folks, you don't realize just how drastic this is. The T-bills pay the interest on the national debt of the United States of America, and when they don't buy our Treasury bills at the auctions of the Treasury, it could bring about a collapse of the dollar. Mark my words, you are going to see 6 months, 9 months, maximum 1 year from now, a total, complete collapse of the United States dollar and the economic system in this country. Prepare yourself for it. I was told by one of the insiders themselves that it's going to happen, and you can depend on the fact. Now, Alex, when can I come down to the mindset of these people so I can help folks understand why they have all this to do?
Let's do that in a moment. I first want to flesh out the fact that you said on this show almost 7 months ago that it would first start bankrupting things like Dubai, which was supposedly the best place to invest in the world. Now the New York Times admits it's imploding. They're stopping building. They're going into full-bore depression. People are going to the airport and just leaving their cars and flying out of the country, the foreign workers. I mean, it's happening here. This is a war against everybody. I've had some good old boys email me and go, good, let's bankrupt Venezuela and Russia and the Arabs. No. This is the banks and the oil companies, the same people that own them, bankrupting the world to bring in a world government, a world carbon tax, total control, and they've now announced it. They've announced, Gordon Brown was here this week, announcing a new world government. I mean, I was listening to Fox Radio and on XM, and they were going, I guess people like Alex Jones are right. I imagine I turned on XM last night, and there's some talk show host going, I guess Alex Jones is right. They're saying it's a world government, and they're taking over. We were only going off their documents, but please continue. Yes, go ahead and get into their mindset.
Alex, you're telling everything that these people plan to do. You've told it in advance. You've been right on the money every time. People should believe every word you're saying. OPEC financial oil ministers met just a few days ago, and after their meeting, they made this statement. They said, in 4 months, OPEC, that's the oil-producing countries of the world, have lost $2.5 trillion. You heard me correct.
And they were heavily leveraged in derivatives as well, overextended. Again, bankrupt the middle class in Western Europe, the U.S., bankrupt the middle class in Japan, bankrupt the middle class in Australia, bankrupt the middle class in Latin America, bankrupt corporations, and then government working for the bankers come in then and consolidate everything. Go ahead.
They have everything to gain by this. The average person says, oh, my goodness, as one person said to me the other day, don't some of these elite live in the United States of America? Do they want to destroy their own country? I said, wait a minute, you don't understand their mindset. So this past week, after you'd given me the invitation...
Yeah, these are conquerors. Explain their mindset. Break down their conquerors. This is global domination using economics as a weapon.
Yes. Now, folks, understand, I lived with them for 3 years. I had an opportunity to analyze them on their own ground. The name of the game is control. If you remember anything in this program today, please remember that expression. The power is greater. The power of these people is greater than the average person can even comprehend. They control presidents. They control the government. They control nations. They control currencies. They control the masses. They have the leverage and the power to be able to do this. They create a problem, and then they create a solution to solve the problem. Now, let me begin 15 years ago. 2 institutions that were created. Remember back on this. 2 institutions were created to make money available for the real estate loans, Fannie and Freddie. 40% of all loans were made by them, guaranteed by the government. They were ordered, Fannie and Freddie were, to make loans to anybody. Teaser loans, interest loans, no interest loans, option arm loans.
And the real estate workers were publicly told to falsify the reports and they wouldn't get in trouble.
They were.
And that's why none of them are, because they were told to do it.
They created the bubble. They knew exactly what they were doing, and they also knew exactly when they were going to pull the noose and that the bubble would burst and the real estate crisis would take place. And it all began 15 years ago when they began to create it. Secondly, 15 years ago, they planned the price of crude oil to go from $30 a barrel to $137 a barrel. Then they planned it and told me about it 8 months in advance that it would go from $137 a barrel to $50 a barrel, that gasoline would go from $1 from $4 to $5 a gallon to $1.50 to $2 a gallon. OPEC oil-producing countries had, during the time it was $137 a barrel, and stayed there for quite a period of time, around 125 to 140. And the OPEC oil-producing countries obligated themselves for defense contracts. Oh, my goodness, they bought armament like you wouldn't believe. Energy, infrastructure.
Stay there. We got a break. We'll come right back. Lindsay, get into their mindset.